Charlie Kirk absolutely cooks. A woke leftist history teacher sizzles him up on the frying pan and everything, the whole 9 yards. Guys, it is brutal, all right? I don't know about you, but I cannot understand why we have so many just frankly uneducated and ignorant people teaching our future generations of Americans. It is really scary. They don't even know the most basic facts of history, let alone the fact they don't know that men are men and women are women. They have no knowledge. I don't know what else to say. It's so bad. So we're gonna get right into it. It's gonna be fun. But first, do me a huge favor here. Like our video and share it around so we can keep bringing you all this great, hard-hitting content. As always, Patriots, I'm your host, Darian, and this is Resist the Mainstream.
I'm actually an instructor in history. My main area is World War I and World War II. And I really hate it when I'm teaching those classes and then we have a political discussion and students immediately go to the fascistic, kind of like Hitler comparison. But that's my question that I have for you. At what point, if you see the development of what's happening currently right now to Trump's rise to power...
Do you also correlate President Trump's rise to second power to Winston Churchill's?
No, I wouldn't.
But they have way more in common than the Weimar Germany one. And you're a historian professor, you know that, right?
Oh.
Well, think about it. Donald Trump was put in exile, so was Churchill after the Darnells. You know about the Darnells because you're a professor, right? You do? Okay. Can you tell me about the Darnells?
I would rather focus primarily on...
If you're a World War I professor and you don't know about the Darnells, okay, this is what you're paying for, everybody.
If I can give you some comparisons that I would necessarily see. I mean, if you look at, you have a populist movement, right? You have someone who is has a cult of personality, a very effective rhetoric. If you look at the assassination attempts that were on Hitler and on Trump, if you look at even the iconography that you have within the MAGA hats, you have a white lettering on a red background. If you even go even further...
Oh, I got another one you forgot. Yeah. Did you know that Hitler had a dog?
Okay. No. So the very nature of history is seeing a level of comparison of analysis. Once again, I'm not...
Oh my goodness, Hitler was also a vegetarian, so vegetarians are also likely to kill our whole population. This is such a sloppy analysis. And
you know, what's kind of ironic is that Trump is actually the first president to not own a dog in about 115 years. William McKinley would be the one who did it before him. Doesn't detract from Kirk's point, of course. Now, as far as the Darnells go, I have to admit, guys, okay, I went to public school my whole life. Don't make fun of me. I had no idea what it was when Kirk brought it up. Maybe it's because I had teachers like that guy, all right? You can't blame me, okay? But just quick little synopsis about what that is. Churchill, back in World War I, obviously well before he was prime minister during World War II, was one of the main architects, apparently, of this offensive that they launched, the Dardanelles offensive, in which they were essentially trying to go after the Ottoman Empire, eventually with the goal of attacking Constantinople, modern-day Istanbul. And it's accepted as a huge failure for the Brits, right? So much so that during the campaign, you know, even before it came to an end, Churchill actually resigned in disgrace. You know, totally, first he got demoted, then he resigned. It was really a bad time for him. He really did a fantastic job, essentially re-engineering his reputation to something great later on. Whether that's justified or not is a different discussion. Get into that another time. Now, sadly, that clip cuts off right there. There's no more after that. But if you want to see another stupid question asked to Charlie Kirk, check this out.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, Charlie. How are you? I was wondering I want to start by saying I don't agree with you on very much, but I hope we don't see each other as enemies. I just want to have a discussion about something that I am a little concerned about. I do feel a decent deal of concern about the White House Faith Office, which was recently, I believe, established around February 7th to combat Christian discrimination. I see it as sort of a violation of our First Amendment rights, particularly the Establishment Clause. I wonder if you could give me a little more information on that.
Biden had a faith office. Every administration has had a faith office the last 100 years.
Is that true? Huh. Well, I guess I don't have a whole lot more to...
A faith outreach arm, that's right.
Still, I don't particularly agree with the idea that there's Christian discrimination in America. I think emboldening or establishing something that's supposed to combat Christian discrimination, which is not particularly an issue in America, I feel like it steps too close to establishing the Christian religion to not be somewhat of a violation of the First Amendment.
All right, we'll just disagree on that, but thank you.
Well, agree to disagree.
Appreciate it. Thanks for being here. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Really? We've got no issue of Christian discrimination in America? Then why do we have a bunch of bozos, often on the right, by the way, I want to make that clear, who tell us that if you say Christ is king, if you proclaim that Jesus Christ is the King of Kings, you're somehow being a hateful, terrible person. Just, crazy stuff. We also, you can look into it. We have legislation that makes, if you say certain things about Jesus Christ that are factually true and how he died, you can get in big trouble. It's actually being criminalized by our government right now. Look into that. It's really quite fascinating. Now, I do agree with this guy on one thing though. Well, I don't exactly agree with him, but I actually don't like the White House Faith Office much like this kid over here does. Why, you may ask? Well, it's real simple. Have you checked out the pastor who's leading it? Well, if you don't know what I'm talking about, just, look her up. You'll see what I mean. She has something very specific in common with the so-called bishop who spoke during Trump's inauguration. Something that we see a lot more now in Christian types of organizations. Well, mainly churches is what I mean to say. And it's a big problem. I'll leave it at that. Now, if you thought what this guy was saying is goofy, just you wait. Look at this.
Everybody, don't be like this guy.
I think currently what he's doing with trying to suppress the media is absolutely abhorrent.
How is he suppressing the media by doing more media? You know who's suppressing the media? Joe Biden never talked to the media. Donald Trump will sit at the Resolute desk and invite all the media.
They just announced.
Hold on a second. This is so insane. This guy will answer more questions than any president that we've had in the last 50 years. He will literally do a press conference today. He did one at 12 p.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. And that's the third time this week he's done. And anyone can ask any question they want. You're saying he's suppressing the media?
Can I say why?
Because of the Associated Press?
Well,
or why?
Partially, yes, and because he literally just announced his press conference person. She just announced that they're getting rid of the nonpartisan group that picks the journalists. He's going to pick the journalists. A bunch of bootlickers are going to be in there. That's not free speech.
Well, first of all, I don't want to hear from Jim Acosta or Caitlin Collins, and I don't think the American people do either. The point being, though, is that...
Sure, and I don't want to hear from a bunch of spray-tan Fox News people.
Hold on a second. It's so easy in life to go around saying that everything sucks and everything's awful, when in reality, you have the best government that you've had in 100 years, and a reclamation. Of course, there'll be things you disagree with or you don't like, but it's so easy and so cool to kind of be like, I don't like this, and you're kicking out the press, when in reality, they're getting 99 out of 100 things right. Okay, obviously really goofy, but there's something I want to agree with this guy on. Fox News, I actually don't really want to hear from them either that much. You guys see this essentially pro-trans report that was put out by Fox News a couple years ago? Take a look.
People could see that like there's another family out there that is going through what we're going through, or there's another family who's proud of who they are.
Before Ryland could even speak, he managed to tell his parents that he is a boy.
I could just see that it wasn't him trying to be a brat. It was like painful. It was truly painful for him to have to wear feminine clothing and for us constantly telling him that you're a girl.
And unlike some trans kids, when Ryland came out at age 5 a few years later, he had the full support of his parents.
Initially, there was some pushback from us in trying to understand this.
We were confused like most people are. We thought that gender and sexuality were the same thing. It took us a while to figure out that those two things are different.
To see Ryland go through that.
I'd rather have a living son than a dead daughter. And I guarantee that if we had pushed back and done what a lot of parents do, I don't think that we would have either one of the kids that you see before you here today.
Conservative, huh? I don't know about you guys, but I miss Tucker Carlson on Fox News. He's the GOAT. We miss him so much. We love Tucker. With all that being said, everybody, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. As always, comment below, guys. Let us know what you liked about the video, what kind of stuff you want to see in the future, and hit that subscribe button so we can see you again soon. God bless.